I'm Catherine L. Morrison. I go by the name of Kay, and I want to introduce you to West Wing Week.
Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and beyond. This week, the president wrapped up a 6-day trip to Europe and Saudi Arabia, spoke on the success of the first open enrollment period of the Affordable Care Act, traveled to Michigan to highlight the importance of raising the federal minimum wage, and honored both the World Series champion Boston Red Sox and the 2014 US Olympic and Paralympic teams. That's March 28th to April 3rd, or the Rosies. This West Wing Week started off in Rome, where the president began his 6th day of a week-long trip to Europe and the Arabian Peninsula. He met with CBS's Scott Pelley for an interview. The president then traveled to Saudi Arabia, where he was greeted by members of the Saudi royal family. While in the country, he traveled to a desert camp where he met with King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia for a bilateral meeting. On Saturday morning, the president presented Dr. Maha Al-Munif with the 2014 International Women of Courage Award for her advocacy work on the issue of domestic violence.
This is an ongoing issue, and for them to see your ability to pass laws here in the kingdom gives, I think, people confidence in other places where the issue may not always be lifted up.
The president then traveled to Ramstein Air Force Base, where he thanked injured American soldiers for their service. On Monday, the president and vice president hosted a very special group, the Rosie the Riveters Gang, to honor their special place in American history.
Here's a guy with
Absolutely.
The women were invited to the White House to honor the significant impact their actions had on improving not only women's rights, but also America itself. The president brought the Rosies to the Oval Office after sharing a story of why their visit was personal for him.
So to have these ladies here, who all remind me of my grandmother, to be able to say thank you to them, and in that way, also be saying thank you to my grandma and so many other women who aren't here today, but helped to win the war and open up opportunities for my daughters. That's something special.
On Tuesday, the White House was bursting with a different set of reds, whites, and blues as the Boston Red Sox came for a visit. Fans young and old came to pay tribute to the 2013 world champions. And as he left, the president couldn't help but add one more thing to the conversation.
White Sox next year.
Later that day, the president and vice president gathered in the Rose Garden to announce that 7.1 million Americans signed up for affordable health insurance through the federal ACA website, exceeding the goal that few thought the once flawed website could handle.
As messy as it's been sometimes, as contentious as it's been sometimes, it is progress. It is making sure that we are not the only advanced country on earth that doesn't make sure everybody has basic health care.
The First Lady kicked off this West Wing Week Wednesday by bringing Food Corps volunteers and local students to her annual spring planting of this year's crops in the White House gardens, including a brand new pollinator garden. Meanwhile, the president traveled to Ann Arbor to speak at the University of Michigan on the importance of raising the federal minimum wage. He stopped in first at Zingerman's, a local sandwich institution, where he sat down for lunch with minimum wage earners.
What do you think? Just classic Reuben?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This little fancy thing taking over.
Yeah.
What do you got to drink? You have, this is good iced tea?
Yeah, we have really great iced tea.
Right. How old are you?
22, this is the time.
22? Now's the time. Go to France, have an adventure.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
What do you think? You're 22 years old, you can go to France and teach English? Let's take a vote. Who thinks she should go? There we go. I think you're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great adventure.
Thank you.
All right? Okay. Au revoir. There you go. Mommy, say cheese.
Say cheese.
See you, man. Keep being a good big brother.
Thanks.
On Thursday, the president and first lady welcomed the 2014 US Olympic and Paralympic teams to the White House. Later that day, the president was joined in the Oval Office by Democrats and Republicans from Congress, where he signed into law H.R. 2019, the Gabriella Miller Kids First Research Act. It would enact strong federal commitments for furthering pediatric medical research. Well, ladies and gents, you've gone and spent some of your precious time watching West Wing Week, and we're happy to have you. Please do stay engaged with us online, and remember, you can find out more information about any of these topics or to see complete videos of these events at whitehouse.gov. And thanks again for checking out your West Wing Week.
All right, let's see if we can make this work.
There we go. Hold on.
All right, fantastic. That's good work. You're taking a picture.
Selfie thing?
Come on. No, come on, we'll figure it out. Come on.
Tilt the chin up a little bit.
See where you started? All right, here, grab it and take a shot. Take a picture of him. There we go. That's the shot right there. That's the shot.